Welcome back to our channel. Today we are diving into a game changer for Africa's economy, the power of high-speed trains and modern rail networks. Let's take a journey through history, compare global economies, and see why rail transport could be Africa's ticket to major economic growth. Let's jump right in. The story of rail transport begins in the age of the steam engine, a revolution that literally put nations on the fast track to growth. Back then, horses just couldn't keep up with the power and range of steam-powered trains. Countries like the United States, Germany, Japan, and Britain saw their economies explode after adopting this technology. And these were the same countries that led the world through major events like World War I and II. To build a strong economy, nations need to move goods quickly and efficiently, whether it's by land, air, or sea. In this video, we will be focusing on the land part and specifically on rail transport. Let's talk about the 7 largest economies in the world by nominal GDP. The United States, China, Germany, Japan, India, the UK, and France. Together, these nations dominate economically, and there is a clear link between their powerful economies and their rail networks. For example, the United States has a massive 293,564 kilometer railway system, mostly for freight. China follows with 150,000 kilometers, including the world's longest high-speed network. Germany, Japan, India, the UK, and France also have significant rail systems that keep people and goods moving. And guess what? The evidence is clear. A vast, efficient rail network is essential for economic development. Now, let's bring it back to Africa. The top 7 economies in Africa are South Africa, number 1, followed by Egypt, Algeria, Nigeria, Morocco, Ethiopia, and Kenya. Have GDPs that vary wildly, from 403 billion in South Africa to 116 billion in Kenya. Each of these countries also has a growing rail network. South Africa leads with almost 21,000 kilometers of rail, while Egypt has over 5,000 kilometers, and Algeria and Nigeria follow closely behind. These networks are the lifelines for transporting goods and people across vast distances, but there's still a long way to go if Africa is going to catch up to the rest of the world. So, what can African countries do to boost trade and raise their GDP? Let's break it down. Number 1, there has to be strategic investment. First, countries need to identify key trade routes and prioritize rail projects where they will have the biggest impact, like connecting major ports or industrial areas. Number 2, public-private partnerships. Building rail networks is expensive. Working with private investors and international institutions can make projects happen faster and more efficiently. Number 3, standardize across borders. Imagine a train moving across multiple countries without stopping at every border for adjustments. Africa needs consistent rail gauges across regions, making it easier to move goods quickly and affordably. Number 4, focus on high speed and freight rail. Investing in high-speed rail for passengers and dedicated freight corridors for goods can bring down transport costs, reduce road congestions, and improve overall efficiency. So, what are the challenges that affects Africa's rail development? Of course, building these networks isn't easy. Let's take a look at the main challenges. Number one, obviously, is corruption. Oh my goodness, African leaders. If you are in Japan or China or in Malaysia, if you are accused of being a corrupt politician, then that's the end of you. You are either rebuked, repudiated, or you can't even be killed or be thrown to jail for life. But in some of our countries, in Africa, if you are corrupt, then you stand for office or you are celebrated and given more power. So this is the biggest cancer that is causing projects, big projects, mega projects that are required to spur the economy, but because of corruption, these projects cannot take off. Legal and environmental issues. Rail projects can face delays due to environmental concerns and land ownership issues. Streamlining legal processes and creating fair land acquisition policies are key. The other challenge is resettlement and compensation. Some rail lines need to go through areas where people live. So, a fair compensation and resettlement plans are crucial to avoid conflict and build community support. The other challenge is inconsistent cost. Costs per kilometer of rail vary wildly across countries, often due to lack of standardization. Setting benchmarks can help control costs and improve quality. So in terms of lessons from the past and going forward, historically, delays, high costs, and political interference have slowed down African rail projects. Moving forward, it is crucial to rely on technical expertise, stay on schedule, and minimize politically driven decisions. Countries like the United States, Germany, and Japan have shown that rail infrastructure can drive economic growth. For Africa, investing in high-speed trains and standard gauge railways could be the spark for a new era of industrial and trade expansion. So in conclusion, Africa's future could be on track, literally. With strategic planning, investment, and regional collaboration, the continent has the potential to build a railway network that connects nations, reduces transport costs, and powers economic growth. We can call this railway the Trans-African Railway, all the way from Cape Town to Njambena, up the north of Africa. So thank you very much for watching. If you found this video insightful, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button for more content on economic development, infrastructure, and technology. Let me also know in the comments, how do you think about rail transport and how can it change Africa's future? See you in the next video. Adios.